So you're thinking about buying a new build in Dove Mountain, Arizona. Well, in this video, you're gonna find out everything you need to know about building a new house in Dove Mountain. And if you stick around to the end, I'm gonna share something important, so you're definitely not gonna wanna miss out on that. We're gonna jump in right now. And if you want to know everything there is to know about lifestyle, real estate, and new builds in Tucson, Arizona and surrounding areas, then make sure you subscribe to this channel, tap the little bell notification so you can be the first to learn about everything you need to know. We get calls and texts every single day from people just like you who are looking to make a move in Tucson, and we absolutely love it. So whether you're moving in 1 day or 100 days, give us a call, send us a text message, shoot us an email, or even schedule a Zoom call. We're happy to help make this move. It's very smooth anywhere in Tucson. So let's dive in and find out what buying a new build in Dove Mountain is all about. First, let's get acclimated to where Dove Mountain's located. Dove Mountain is located about 30 minutes northwest of Tucson. It is actually on what you would consider a mountain. It's a higher elevation than it is Tucson, and depending on where you're at in Dove Mountain, you can get substantially higher than the elevation in Tucson, which gives you some tremendous views across the valley. Seriously, working for the last 15 years in real estate in Tucson, I've had the pleasure of being all over Southern Arizona and checking out some views. Personally, I think Dove Mountain has some of the best views I've ever seen, and for the price point, you're gonna find that those views are highly, highly underrated. One of my favorite things about Dove Mountain is that over 2,400 acres of it are dedicated to natural preserves with an emphasis on low density, meaning that there's not a high density of homes that are built in Dove Mountain. So if you like privacy, if you like serene wildlife, if you like peace and quiet, this is absolutely a place that you're gonna wanna check out. And almost a third of Dove Mountain's 9 square mile footprint is dedicated to open space. So you're gonna have tremendous views, and one of the best kept secrets of Southern Arizona, and specifically Dove Mountain, are the sunsets. The sunsets are world class. You're gonna get incredible bursts of pink and yellow and red in the sky. Some of the most beautiful photos of sunsets have been taken in Southern Arizona in this desert that we call home. So you're definitely not gonna wanna miss those. If you're an outdoors person, you're gonna wanna pay attention to Dove Mountain's over 50 miles of walking trails and biking trails. Seriously, if you like the outdoors, there is so much from hiking to walking paths to wildlife to native plant life. There is so much to take in, so much beauty in the desert. You're definitely going to enjoy just being outside and being, present and enjoying that sun. And lastly, a big draw to Dove Mountain is its championship golf community. It's packed with 81 holes of championship golf. So if you like to get out on the course, whether solo or with some friends, this is definitely the spot for you. One of the very first steps that you have to take when you decide to build a home anywhere, but specifically in Dove Mountain, is you want to pick a builder. Now there's several different builders you can choose from some of the largest national builders like Lennar, Pulte Homes, Richmond American Homes, Meritage, Mattamy. Those are some of the home builders that are currently active and have active sales sites there. And then you've also got semi-custom and custom home builders that are operating in Dove Mountain as well. So whether you're looking for something with a little bit more prestige, like a custom home, or whether you're looking for something that has a little bit more simplicity to it, a little bit more streamlined and readily available, we've got you covered with more of a spec builder, a large production builder as well. I'm gonna break down some of the additional steps. Really, one of the things you wanna consider when you're picking a builder is the process. Now, I mentioned custom versus more of a spec production style builder. There's advantages and disadvantages to both. Generally speaking, when you're building a custom home, it's gonna be inherently more expensive. It's probably gonna take longer. And typically, if you're involved in the process of a custom home build, it's almost certainly going to be more taxing on you mentally, because there's just a lot more decisions. And that freedom to make those decisions is oftentimes why people decide to go build a custom home. For other people that would prefer something a little bit more streamlined, where it's less overwhelming, it's much more guided, and there's a lot more guidance through the entire process, and the turn times from start to finish are much shorter, going with a production builder is definitely going to be an option you're going to want to take a look at. The predominant building styles in Dove Mountain range from a southwestern home. There are some Santa Fe's. We've got some modern mixes, some contemporaries, and really it's kind of open for interpretation. There are some building requirements in Dove Mountain, but generally speaking, you've got a whole lot of building styles you can choose from. Those are some of the most predominant styles that we find in Dove Mountain. Another thing that's important to consider when picking a builder is the builder's reputation. Now, some of the production builders that I mentioned, they work and operate on a big national stage. So their reputation tends to be pretty well documented, whether it's Meritage, Mattamy, Richmond American Homes. These are some of the largest and most productive builders in the world. And so you can do a quick Google search. You can look on Yelp. You're going to be able to find a lot of information about their reputation overall, having worked with all of those builders and sold many, many homes for clients with them. I find that all of them build a very quality home, and overall, clients are very satisfied with their purchase long term. Now, if you're more interested in going the custom route, you're definitely going to want to make sure you do research as well. Typically, with a custom home builder, they may not have as much visibility. They may not have as many reviews. It might not be as accessible to find information about them. So it's going to be really important that you meet them and interview them and talk to a couple custom home builders. If you have not been through this custom home building process yourself, it's super important that you link up with someone who has. Like myself, me and my wife have built a custom home in the last couple years. I've also helped several clients build custom homes as well. So going through that interview process with custom home builders, knowing what to ask, what to look for, what hurdles and challenges you may come up against, and how they're going to be able to help navigate that with you is very critical. The last thing that you're going to want to pay attention to when it comes to picking a builder is if you're going more with a production style builder, then most of them are going to already have materials and styles and finishes laid out. They're going to have an inventory of selection that you get to look at. So they make it pretty easy for you to piece it all together. And they even have designers that will help sit with you. You know, I've had clients spend 8 to 12 hours in their design appointment for their home, picking out colors of cabinetries matching with granite or quartz, matching with the flooring, with the paint, with the light fixtures, plumbing fixtures, you name it. The production builders can definitely do that, but not every builder does that. That's more of a kind of a la mode approach where you pick every little item. Some of the builders are going to have more packages. So they're preset packages. They'll have, for example, 6 to 10 packages to choose from. And in each package, you get a floor color, a floor covering with a wall color, and you get the fixtures, the plumbing and electrical fixtures, whether it be the pendant lights and the faucets that are all kind of matching. It'll also tell you the type of cabinetry, the type of finish, the type of granite or quartz, and you'll be able to select a package that's pre-designed with color palettes, cabinetry and countertop mixes and all of that. So it really depends on what is best for you. The other thing that builders will do to differentiate themselves is each of them tend to have a little bit of a special sauce, if you will. So I'm going to use Meritage as an example. Meritage is a big national production builder, and their claim to fame is that they do spray foam insulation throughout the home. That tends to be much more expensive than what's normally used in our homes here in Tucson, Arizona, which is batt insulation. Spray foam insulation is like 3 to 4 times more expensive, and it provides an incredibly more insulating factor to the home itself, keeping it much cooler in the summertime and much warmer in the wintertime. Not that it gets that hot or that cold in the wintertime anyway, but it's going to keep your electric bills down. Richmond American, for instance, they've hung their hat on the fact that they allow customers to build a home a la carte. So it's almost that custom home approach but it's much more streamlined. Not have a package to choose from. You're gonna pick everything. You're gonna meet with a designer after you write your contract. You're gonna meet with a designer and you're gonna spend as much time as you want there. Could be 4 hours, could be 8 hours, could be 2 days. And you're gonna pick everything from the flooring to the cabinets to the countertops to the electrical, plumbing fixtures, where you want outlets, fans, you name it. That's just an example of two of the builders and kind of something unique to them that they've kind of made their claim to fame. Now with custom home builders, the world is your oyster. Whatever you can imagine and dream up is what they're used to doing. So the process with them is gonna look a little bit different, and be ready to make a lot of decisions because you're gonna hire people to help you or not, but depending on how involved you wanna be, that's certainly an option. Let's talk a little bit about the contract process. Whether you're going with a production builder or whether you're going with a custom home builder, process starts with identifying a lot. Now, when you go with a production builder, somebody who has an established sales site, there's several of them in Dove Mountain, they're gonna have lots predetermined with predetermined sizes, predetermined what they call lot premiums. So they'll have some lots that may or may not be as desirable and they're priced a little bit lower in terms of the premium. They're gonna have other lots that are maybe view fencing that back up to a mountain, or they have a large cul-de-sac lot or a pie-shaped lot. Those tend to draw a little bit more demand, so the price reflects that typically. With a custom home builder, you can choose any site that you want, and it's gonna be working with the topography of the land, the HOA, any setback requirements, all that sort of stuff. The custom home builder is gonna help sort out to help determine what can be built and ultimately where it can be placed. Now, something that I tell every single person that buys a new build that I've worked with is one of the best ways to protect your investment when you're buying a house, specifically building a house, is gonna be the lot that you select. Really, in a new build community, there's always gonna be some premium lots. There's gonna be some that are at the higher end of the range in terms of the lot premium that you pay. And oftentimes, when I sell clients homes after they've built them, I see the resale values of those homes the highest, depending on one of the major factors tends to be where their lot was. Something else that I wanted to mention that I share with all of my clients that buy new builds, when it comes to resale value and protecting your resale value, one of the best things you can do is pick a premium lot. I know it might be a little bit more expensive up front. You're gonna have to pay that lot premium for that view lot that backs to the mountain that has fencing that allows you to see the wildlife in the natural desert. However, when I resale my clients' homes years later and they call me and tell me, Rich, we're ready to sell, we've got this thing going on in our life. Oftentimes when I compare the clients who opted for the premium lot versus ones that didn't, the ones that opted for a premium lot tend to have a lot more significant appreciation in their property than the ones that bought maybe an interior lot with no view fencing and a neighbor to the back. So keep that in mind. If you're in a position you're kind of considering what to do one way or another, for sure you can reach out to me directly and I'm happy to kind of discuss that with you. But keep that in mind, lot premium and in purchasing and pursuing a lot that is one of the primo lots, one of the best ways to secure your resale value long term. One of the next steps in the process is going to be picking your floor plan. Now, if you're going with the production builder, that process is going to be pretty simple because they're going to have 5 to 6 floor plans for you to choose from. Now, each floor plan could be 4 bedroom, 3 bathroom. They may even have options to add bathrooms, add bedrooms. There's what's called structural options that you can do slight modifications to the floor plan that will allow you to kind of customize it a little bit. If you're going with a custom home builder, that's really the process that you're going to take to hire an engineer, an architect, and or a designer to help work with you. They'll sit down and consult with you and talk with you about how large of a home you want, bedrooms and bathrooms, if there's any inspiration that you had that you can send them, and they're going to start to work together as a team to build a custom floor plan for you. Now, the other option if you're building a custom home is to do a pre-designed floor plan. There's websites online, you can grab a pre-designed floor plan, you can put that in front of an engineer or an architect and they can do modifications to it. And oftentimes in these websites that sell the pre-designed plans, they can make modifications for you too. So there's two really good options for the custom home route as well. Once you've chosen the floor plan, you're gonna wanna start talking about the exterior of the home. Now, in both options, production home builder or a custom home builder, that design, they're gonna have several options typically. So a production builder is usually gonna have 2, maybe 3 different facades on the front, whether it has stacked stone or whether it has brick, or whether it has what type of trim around the windows and doors, or maybe it has shutters. Sometimes the pitch on the roof will be a little bit different, where it'll be flat and slanted towards you, or it'll be pitched with a hip facing you like this. It really depends on the builder and the specific site location that you're at. For a custom home builder, that's going to be part of what you discuss with your designer and your architect to determine what type of elevation you want to see from standing on the street or standing somewhere on the lot looking at it. From there, you're going to get an opportunity to choose some of the most exciting stuff, which is the finishes. This is where you get to pick the tile. This is where you get to pick the lighting. This is where you get to pick the paint color. All of your finishes, whether you want that big vessel tub or whether you're going super shower, you're going big old shower with a big pane of glass. Most production builders will also have options for a tub versus a shower, or what type of tile, whether they offer some sort of a package that's included in, or whether it's more a la carte, which is more of like a Richmond American style approach to it. Custom home builders, like I've said over and over again, you can do whatever you want. It's really going to be a game of cost. So if that's cost effective for you, then I would say it's game. The last piece of this initial process, which is super important, is negotiation. Yes, you heard me right. You can negotiate with builders, even custom home builders. The price is set by open negotiation. Now, when you go into a production sales office, say you're looking in Dove Mountain and you see a home builder site, or you look on their website, yes, their prices are advertised is what they would accept. But understand, they're the seller, and just like any other seller of real estate, that's their asking price. So if demand is high, they may be getting asking price. If demand is low, they may be willing to make some concessions, maybe shave off some of the price, or offer it at a discount because for whatever reason, the home has sat for longer than they feel comfortable with. This is a really important step. I think I see people leave tens of thousands of dollars on the line thinking that they don't need a real estate agent, when in fact this is actually one of the most important roles that we serve as realtors, is to help negotiate with builders to get you the best deal on your dream house. So if you need help with that, I'm here for you. Feel free to reach out. I've got years of experience helping clients with that. Next, we're going to talk a little bit about the build process. So the build process, there's typically about 5 or 6 big phases of the build, whether it's a custom home or a production build. Once you go through the contract process, which we just talked about, and you secure the lot and the floor plan and the finishes and the price, then we move into the building process. Now, the first step is called breaking ground. Breaking ground is exactly what it sounds like. It's the first time a piece of dirt is really moved in the process of building the home that you ordered. They're gonna put the plumbing into the ground for all of your drains. They're gonna form up everything for the concrete foundation, and they're going to get that prep. That is what's known as the breaking ground process. And the next process is called the slab phase. Now, the slab phase is just simply once the forms are up for the foundation and the plumbing has been put into the ground, they are ready to pour the slab. So they're going to bring in concrete, they're going to pour the slab. It's going to take a week or two before it's finished, and that will essentially be your slab phase. They'll remove the forms, and now you have your foundation to your home. The next phase is framing. From there, they're going to start putting up the sticks. The sticks are 2x4s or 2x6s that create your interior, exterior walls, and bringing in all of your trusses and roof support beams, and they're going to build your house. That's really the exciting piece when it starts to look like a house. You get to see the structure for the first time, stand in the front yard and look at it and be like, wow, this is really exciting now. I'm starting to see that this is becoming a house. The next step is the drywall phase. So right before the drywall phase is you do one final check to make sure that before they put the drywall over the 2x4s and close up all of the walls, they're gonna check, to make sure all of the electrical is good, all of the plumbing is good, all of the HVAC is put in correctly, because the drywall phase is the phase that closes up the walls. They fill the whole house with drywall. Now that's an exciting phase if you've ever been through that phase in a build before, because that's really where you get a sense of the size of the rooms, so you get to walk through your hallways, even though it's unfinished drywall, Now all of a sudden you're getting to feel the space for the first time, how large this hallway feels, how large this bedroom feels, you know, the master bathroom, the living room, you name it, the whole interior of the house really comes into perspective. After drywall's up, it's been taped, textured, and finished. The next piece is your interior finishes: cabinetry, countertops, paint, flooring, vanities, bathroom tiles, tubs, shower surrounds, doors. That's all the finish work that goes into the home, and that's one of the final stages. Once all the finishes are done, you're gonna have what's called a blue tape meeting. The blue tape meeting is literally that. You're given a roll of blue tape, and you, with the contractor or with the superintendent, you spend usually about an hour to 2 hours, and you go through the house. If you have a realtor, like I accompany this meeting with all of my clients, I accompany all of these meetings with my clients. During the blue tape process, we're gonna go through the entire house with a microscope, and we're gonna look through everything. And if there's anything like a blemish with the paint, or a blemish with the drywall, or a cracked or chipped tile, or some small damage with the cabinetry when it was installed, or granite is chipped, or there's an electrical outlet in the wrong place, or there's an electrical outlet missing, that's our opportunity to put a piece of blue tape there, and before closing, they're gonna make any final corrections. It's very normal at this stage too that there are corrections. I've been party to some of these meetings where it looks like somebody walked through the house with a blue tape shotgun and just sprayed tape everywhere. For some clients, that's what they want to do. They want to make sure that it is meticulous. And then for other clients, it doesn't bother them as much. So it's really up to your interpretation. The builder tends to cater to whatever your comfort level is, which is nice. If you want to make sure that everything is gone through with a fine-tooth comb, this is your opportunity to do it. If you look at it, it feels good, it looks good, you're vibing, and you just didn't have to put a whole lot of blue tape down, no worries, and it's your home, and it fits exactly your needs. The last step is the final walkthrough. So typically about a day or two, maybe 3 days before closing, you're gonna do one final walkthrough. That's when all of the blue tape corrections have been made, the house has been professionally cleaned inside and out, and you're literally walking through the home and you're getting oriented to it. Usually the superintendent or the custom home builder is gonna share with you general maintenance things about the home, how to prevent damage to the home, what to look for if there's an issue with one of the systems of the home. They're really gonna kind of give you like a new car walkthrough. They're just gonna kind of take you for a test drive in the house and show you what the house has to offer and how to make sure that it's running properly. All right, so the next thing, which might not apply to everyone, but for most people, they are financing. One of the most frequent questions that I get about a new build is, how do you finance a new build? Do I have a mortgage payment while it's being built? And the honest answer is, it depends. Most of the time, when you go with a production builder, there is no payment until it's done. You write your contract, you'll put earnest money deposit down, that secures your build and starts the process. You have no more payments until the house is done and it officially becomes yours. Then your loan starts. Now, if you're building a custom home, that process can be a little bit different. If you're building a custom home, there are lenders, there may be situations with custom home builders that are very unique, where you don't have payments while the process of building is going on. Most of the time, however, you're gonna be required to purchase the land, either finance the land or purchase it outright with cash. Then if you're financing the build, you're gonna have payments as you take draws of money from the lender to then pay the contractor for phases of construction. So on a custom home build, typically if you're financing that, you will have some form of payment through the building process. And then at the end, they'll refinance it out of a construction loan, it'll be refinanced into a more traditional 30-year fixed, or something that we're more familiar with like that. Like I said, in most cases, financing a new build is exactly the same as financing any other house. You're gonna call a lender. Most of the time, each builder is gonna have what's called an in-house lender, meaning it's a lender that is affiliated with that particular builder. And with these in-house lenders, something that's kind of cool and unique to new construction is they're gonna throw a lot of incentives, because they're kind of getting two pieces of business for one deal, right? They're getting the sale of a house that they built, and they're getting an opportunity to provide you a loan from an in-house lending company. So say Richmond American or Meritage or Mattamy, they're getting kind of two bites of the apple. So they tend to create some incentives for you to say, hey, we will give you a really good incentive if you're willing to use our in-house lender. In my experience, 9 out of 10 people end up going with the in-house lender instead of going with a lender, an outside lender, someone who's not affiliated with the builder, because the incentives tend to be that good. There are exceptions to that rule. They're rare. I always suggest, if you're contemplating whether you should or shouldn't go with an in-house lender, it cannot hurt to talk to an outside lender and compare. So I highly suggest that you do that. And oftentimes those incentives can look like a rate buy down, a long-term rate lock. Oftentimes I'm seeing seller concessions being offered from the builder, which essentially just means they're paying for your closing costs. They're paying for your loan fees, your appraisal fees, your prepaids. So in Arizona, you'll have prepaids that consist of property taxes and insurance. So they're prepaying those things for you as part of your closing costs. Now, just like with any loan, if you're not as familiar with it, there's an application you're gonna fill out. Typically that's done online. There is a credit check. They're gonna ask for some copies of W-2, pay stub. They'll ask for some bank statements to verify, what your checking and savings account look like. And really the process is just filling out the loan application, providing them documents and giving them permission to pull your credit report so that they can start the process. You will most likely be in touch with the lender several different times throughout the building process, whether you go custom home or go with a production builder. And you're gonna be, just like any financing of any real estate, they're gonna be asking you for documents throughout the process. So you might have to update them with new bank statements, you might have to update them with a new tax form or sign this or that. It is part of the process. You kind of gotta jump through several different hoops, but trust me, for the right home, it's gonna be worth it. The last step in the lending process is gonna be the appraisal. So usually about a week, maybe 2 weeks before your closing date, the lender will order the appraisal. The appraiser will go out there, do his valuation, their valuation, provide that to the lender. That's really gonna be the final big underwriting check before they give final loan approval. And remember, in most cases, when you close on the loan is when your payments start, not before. In certain situations with custom homes, that could vary, but for most people that are gonna go the production builder route, they're not gonna have a monthly payment until they close on the house, it becomes theirs and they move in. So there you have it. Now you know everything there is to know about buying a new build in Dove Mountain, Arizona. If you still have questions about Dove Mountain, leave that in the comments so I can make sure that I address that, and be sure to hit the subscribe button for more videos like this. As I like to do at the end of each of these videos is just share some important info with you in the form of inspiration. And so here it is. If you know who you want to be, the how will always show up. And I think oftentimes we get that so backwards. We get so caught up in the how are we going to get to where we want to be, and we lose sight that it's who first. An important reminder. And on that, another reminder that whether you're moving in 1 day or 100 days, give us a call, shoot us a text, send us an email, or schedule a Zoom call today. And we hope to see you around the neighborhood. Thanks for watching.